Hello from Dresden. We're in the audience development office right now in HELLERAU, and welcome to our podcast from Hell, and welcome Elisa.
Hi, this week's episode focuses on hybrid. What is hybrid? It's first of all a collaboration with MUTEK from Canada, and then it's also an online festival about international electric sound with a lot of new media artists, and we are really happy to talk to some of them today. Who are our guests today, Ellen?
Our guests are the artist director from Hybrid, Moritz Lobeck, and the artist director from MUTEK in Canada, Alain Mongeu, and two artists who will present their works in the Hybrid Festival, Pierre-Luc Lecours and Sahar Homami, and they are both also from Canada. And yeah, that's why it's a really international episode this week, and I'm excited to talk to these people.
So, welcome Moritz Lobeck from HELLERAU. Our first question for you is, who are you and where are you right now?
Who are you and who are you right now is the real question. I'm responsible here in the HELLERAU for music and media. And now for this festival, there are some stories to tell, but we don't have the time. The point is that I met Alain in Montreal and San Francisco, the director from the festival MUTEK, and together with Katharina Meissner, she's also responsible for MUTEK development, and she was born in Dresden. And we had the idea how we could manage this to bring MUTEK and the MUTEK feeling and the MUTEK network and all these great people connected to this network to Dresden. And so this was my job the last year or last years, because the idea to bring MUTEK to Dresden was born in 2019. And then we had some money from the Canadian Embassy for a festival in March 20. And you remembered March 20, it was the beginning of this, what still happened with this pandemic. Yeah, and that's why we had to postpone and to postpone. And in the end, we said, no, let's do it now. Let's do it online. Let's start something that will be continued in the next years. So we hope that it's the beginning of a festival session with MUTEK in March 21 with a focus on Canadian artists. And in 22, we want to have the second edition. So that's the job now, and that's where I am now. Yeah, I think hybrid in 18 and 19 was something not in everybody's mind. So if you would ask someone in 2018 or 19, he said, okay, hybrid, I know this from the cars, from Japanese cars. It's more a thing that's not really connected to performances, to art world. This was in the 90s completely different. So a lot of people discussed these hybrid versions of performances of artworks. And in the last year, things changed a lot. And I think hybrid is something that's in every discussion, not about art, on the art, in every discussion that's going about this new situation that everything has to be digitalized and has to be adapted, streamed, etc. But it's funny to have this title now for a platform and also for a festival. And we will have it also for a Biennale festival that's coming in 22. It's a so-called hybrid Biennale. Then we have this box, the containers in front of the festival house. It's called hybrid box. And of course, this is something we're not sure where it will be in the next years. So we started now, and we started with this MUTEK festival collaboration. We started with a collaboration with Pylon. It's a great institution, a gallery, space, hub, and laboratory in Dresden. And with Object Klein A, it's a cool club in Dresden. And so we will see where it goes to.
And can you explain what can the audience experience in Hybrid Festival? What is there to do? What's there to see? What's there to feel?
Yeah, the subtitle for this festival is Cutting Edge Canada. This idea behind is to present and bring artists from Canada to HELLERAU, to the German audience. The background for this is, on the one hand, this connection to MUTEK, and MUTEK is the origin of MUTEK is Montreal in Canada. The second point is that in 2020, Canada was the guest country, I think it's the name of this, for the book fair in Frankfurt. So of course everything is postponed, but that's a good thing, because now we can do this festival in 21 with the money from Canada, but with this background of this Canadian representatives, and that's the idea behind why we have mostly a focus on Canadian artists living in Canada, working in Canada, or come from Canada, live now in Berlin, whatever. So that's what the audience can have for 4 days, from 11th to 14th of March. I think, it's very important that people realize that it's not really the plan to have a festival like that here in HELLERAU. That's really an adaptation. So we have to go to the online space because we have to, on the one hand. On the other hand, I think this could be something to discuss. That's why we have this new nature project in this festival. And what we want to discuss is this really a good idea to just come back to the good old times and to travel around the world, to have a flight to San Francisco for a festival that not easily, but maybe also could be online? So for me, it's not a point to say it's not the best situation. Have a danceable program and sitting alone at home in front of the screen. Of course not. But I think it's absolutely important to realize that we are now in a situation not to wait till the good old times come back. We are in a situation to think about how can we develop good things, how can we change things that has to be changed since years. So this is one point I have to mark for this festival. That's very important.
No, I just want to say thank you, Moritz, and especially for the last answer. That really gives hope, what you said, like to think about what can be changed in the future and not going back to the past or to the past normal, something like that. So thank you.
Yeah, we're just really happy to have your voice and your perspective today, because you are also kind of involved in a residence program, and that's also that's also a part of what HELLERAU is, and what hybrid is, and what is possible or not possible in these times. So maybe first of all, you could say, who are you and where are you right now in the world? Locally and maybe
question.
emotionally.
Well, I'm a composer. Principally, I work, my medium is music. But since several years, I play a lot with other medium, like video and performance. So trying to involve the physical aspect or the body in the music or in the performance. So in the past year, as a composer, I tried to. I'm really like in the blend of stylistic approach. So I'm like very in between the instrumental approach and the electronic / electroacoustic approach. So I work with, for example, like string ensemble. I do music with synthesizer. I do like music on with computer, and sometimes I mix them like all the way together. So this is a little bit who I am. And right now I am in Montreal in my studio. So it's been like probably the place where I've been like the most in the last year. So I think I spend like I sleep and then I'm in my studio and trying to create new project and music.
So your art experience seems to fit really good to this hybrid festival. That's why I want to ask you where you are positioned in the network HELLERAU MUTEK hybrid. So what's your place in this whole construct?
So originally I was part of the residency program with HELLERAU. That was like supposed to be happening, I think, in autumn last year, but with the COVID situation, it was like not possible to make it happen. And I think like when we first postponed the residency, it was supposed to be like in March, April. And when I was speaking with Moritz, he told me, "Oh, we're gonna have a big event with MUTEK, and it will be nice to have you since you're gonna be there. It will be nice to present something." So I proposed him a project that I was working on that could fit in the event. With MUTEK, I've played it's like a Montreal festival that I think they celebrated their 20th anniversary last year, and it's a festival that I've been playing several times, so I get like I think a good relationship with them.
My next question is more about, maybe you could speak a bit more about your art approach, and what project you're doing for the festival. So how would you describe your art and your project for Hybrid Festival?
Yeah. So I tried to speak about it like a little bit earlier, but like I have a very like hybrid or like in between several things for my approach. Mainly and like very inspired by different like strains of contemporary approach of sound and music. So I'm like as well as influenced by like instrumental music, like I have as well like very influenced by my like more educational background, which is more like electroacoustic electronic music. So I really like to blend these elements together. I recently, like I told before, I added like a video dimension. So I like to explore the new spaces that are created when you link sound with images. These are like two separate spaces, but when you connect them together, it creates new spaces, and the interaction between form, like visual content and audio content, create new interpretation of what you hear and what you see. So this kind of like interaction really interests me. For the project that I will present at the Hybrid Festival, it's a project that did born from the lockdown. So it's very like a project for this state of mind right now that we are in. So this project of like that is called Suspension, that I will present at Hybrid, is an exploration about the suspension of time. So I tried to kind of approach this feeling that I had in at this moment, musically and visually. So for that, I took like I dig a little bit into history's book and try to find like pieces that have been like composed in the past during a pandemic time. So I came with like several pieces that has been composed like in the 15th century, 16th century, 17th centuries, and I started from this like harmonic materials to create the piece to create the project that I've been working on. Yeah, but I think I'm super grateful to HELLERAU and Moritz and MUTEK to allow me to present this project. It's like it's going to be a premiere, so it's going to be the first time it's going to be presented. So it's always like a little bit stressful this moment because you like I basically like nobody heard it, so it's going to be like it's like giving birth to something. So it's always like very hard for I think for an artist, but so hopefully people will feel the time suspension and live a good moment, a peaceful moment during the performance. So well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Pierre-Luc. It was nice to speak to you.
Hi, thank you both, Eleanor and Elisa, for having me today. I'm very happy to be speaking with you. I am speaking with you from Berlin today, and I am going to be participating in the upcoming hybrid festival in HELLERAU. I am an Iranian Canadian audiovisual artist and researcher and a calligrapher. And as I said, I'm currently based in Berlin.
Nice. What is your connection to Hybrid Festival, and how would you describe your art and your project for this festival?
So my connection to the festival actually comes from Alain Mongeu, that is the general and artistic director of MUTEK Festival in Montreal. I had a privilege and opportunity to attend MUTEK Montreal with my project last year, despite COVID and all the restrictions. Which also was a hybrid. The first time MUTEK Montreal was organizing a hybrid version of their festival. So through the connection to MUTEK, I heard about the festival in HELLERAU, and through connection to Moritz and the rest of the team, I'm basically looking forward to the upcoming setup and project that's going to be done in HELLERAU.
Okay. I saw your website and I was really fascinated by this artwork in the front of the page. How would you describe your art, like what you're doing right now? Maybe also concerning the project for hybrid.
Yeah, so when it comes to my work, I would I could give you a short answer and a long answer, but generally I would actually divide the answer into two sections. One aspect of what I do is regarding the concept and the content of the work, and the other aspect is I can go into technicalities and talk about what compromises my work. But so actually, to start on the technical side, my art practice involves a broad range of mediums, let's say. I do video animation direction, real-time audiovisual experiences in the format of performances and installations. Also, another thing that I have been doing next to my digital art is doing analog and also sometimes digital calligraphy, which is actually a response to what you saw on the first page of my website, which is a combination of this, let's say, analog and digital skills that I put together. What I'm going to be presenting in HELLERAU is a continuation of this research that I do to combine mysticism and technology. Um, it's a project that is called Fana. So Fana is a mystical concept in Sufism and other schools of thought, which means to pass away or to or kind of annihilation of the self. In other words, it means to die before one dies. So this is an audiovisual storytelling experience.
Wow, that sounds really interesting. Like there's a lot of concept like cyborg, also the hybrid between you and the computer is kind of a human machine interaction.
Yes, absolutely. I see some of us doing audiovisual art as cyborgs. Yes, doing and also collaborating with the machine. There's definitely, in terms of agency, there's definitely human agency and machine agency that are coming together and creating a piece. Even though we're still not talking, this is not even AI, we're not even talking about that, but the computer definitely has agency here.
Well, so MUTEK is a festival that we tag as being a festival of digital creativity and electronic music. It's based in Montreal since the year 2000. So we celebrated in 2019 our 20th edition. And this year in 2021, it will be our 22nd edition. We have developed a kind of formula of the festival that has attracted uh, quite some interest from other places in the world since actually the early years. So over the last 20 years, the festival branched out in different places also. So we're not only based in Montreal anymore. There's other editions of the festival that exist. So we have like we call them a MUTEK network. In the normal world, pre-pandemic, the festival was happening outside of Montreal, was also happening in Mexico for over 15 years, in Barcelona for over 10 years. We were also having editions in Tokyo for 5 years, in Buenos Aires. We had some initiatives in San Francisco, in Dubai. So we have a very unique network of festivals that are similar and different at the same time. They connect to the spirit of what Montreal is about, and they uh, adapt a local version of the festival. So no, no MUTEK is similar to the other. They all have something in common, like a certain aesthetic and a certain spirit, but they're quite different. So so it's interesting. It's interesting. If you go to Mexico, the Mexico festival sometimes seems even bigger than Montreal. So in that sense, it's different. But then you recognize elements, and it's the same when you go to Tokyo. The festival is much smaller, but the same kind of spirit is there.
And how did you develop MUTEK? Like, what were the beginnings of it, of this project? It's going on for some decades now.
Yeah, it's been going on for 20 years, and in a sense, the festival today is pretty much similar to what it was when it started 20 years ago. Maybe not in size and in diversity, but again, the spirit of having artists playing live, a spirit also of discovery for us, it was always important to present artists that had new projects, and not just new projects, but also that were that had their own identity, that were pushing, like instead of just repeating, let's say if we think of electronic music, you have artists that they fall into a category of doing a bit the same thing as others. In our case, we were always looking for artists that had like a specific proposal that would uh, help push, let's say, that form of expression. So the festival was always about looking for new things, a sense of novelty, especially in relationship to the use of new technologies. Uh, so, for instance, it's strange today to think about that, but we were in Montreal 20 years ago among the first ones to present artists playing with a laptop on stage, which could be very boring uh, today for us, and we take it for granted. But back then, 20 years ago, it was a novelty. I mean, it's funny because this hybrid event, I mean, it's called hybrid, was supposed to happen last year in real life, and the term hybrid was already chosen like many months before the pandemic. And the other thing I would add is the content of this first version of this hybrid notion is actually a sample of what MUTEK has is. You have a bit of everything in the hybrid festival that will be happening in HELLERAU or in Dresden. Actually, it's not happening there; it's happening on the virtual platform. But it's really like a micro sample of what the MUTEK festival is in different aspects. So it's an interesting way to present, let's say, Canadian creativity, but it's also a nice introduction to what MUTEK is about.
So, thank you for listening, and thanks to all guests from all over the world. So, if you want to join, you can experience Hybrid Festival on virtual.mutek.org.